Sarper Güven danced at over 600 bachelorette parties as an erotic performer, worked as a stripper for 7 years, claims he slept with over 2,500 women. Then, at age 43, he met Shekinah Garner, an LA aesthetician who somehow became his first ever girlfriend. He kept his ex-girlfriend's wine bottles as souvenirs in his house. He demanded Shekinah weigh herself on an actual scale on camera. He went missing the day before their wedding. They skipped the ceremony entirely and had a bedding instead. He even reached out to one of his ex-girlfriends to do couples therapy with Shekinah. And now, just months into their marriage, he was caught with active Tinder and Bumble profiles. She's publicly leaving 90 Day Fiancé forever. They've unfollowed each other on Instagram, and their marriage is falling apart in real time on The Last Resort Season 3, airing right now. This might be the most chaotic couple in 90 Day Fiancé history. Let me break down every single red flag. Real quick, let me tell you about these two. Sarper Güven is 45 years old. Yeah, 45. Not the young guy some people assume. He's from Istanbul, Turkey, and his career history is honestly wild. According to TLC and multiple sources, Sarper worked as a model for 1 year, then a stripper for 7 years, then in the import-export industry, then bodybuilding and fitness, then as a personal trainer after moving to Los Angeles. And now he's a stand-up comedian who travels the US and Canada doing shows. He's a self-described bad boy, was married once before, and somehow ended up on 90 Day Fiancé. Shekinah Garner is from Los Angeles, California. She works as an esthetician and runs her own beauty business. She's also a mother, has a daughter from a previous relationship who she's co-parenting. These two have appeared on 4 different 90 Day Fiancé shows now. Season 5 of The Other Way, Season 6 of The Other Way, Season 11 of the flagship 90 Day Fiancé, and now Season 3 of The Last Resort, which is airing right now. They've become 90 Day Fiancé staples, which makes what's happening to their marriage even more public and messy. So, let's talk about Sarper's history properly, because his numbers are honestly hard to believe. Sarper openly said on the show that before he met Shekinah, he had slept with over 2,500 women. 2,500 women. That's his own number. How did that happen? Well, the 7 years as a stripper played a huge role. Then here's the specific number that shocked fans. Sarper performed at over 600 bachelorette parties. 600. Which, you can do the math on how that kind of career might contribute to a 2,500 women count. He was married once before Shekinah. That first wife, Sarper hasn't talked about her much on the show. But from what's been reported, when Sarper's first wife signed their wedding papers, her behavior changed dramatically. But even though he'd been married, Sarper claimed something unusual on 90 Day Fiancé. He said he'd never been in love before. Shekinah became his first ever girlfriend. Not first partner, not first wife. First actual romantic girlfriend he was emotionally committed to. That's a wild claim for a 43-year-old who'd been through hundreds of women and one marriage. Fans were skeptical from day one, and it turns out that skepticism was probably justified. So how did Sarper and Shekinah actually meet? Shekinah was in Turkey on a trip. She matched with Sarper on a dating app. TLC's official description, quote, "Their sexual chemistry was off the charts, and after only 2 days, they both fell head over heels for each other. 2 days. That's how quickly they fell in love, according to them." After the trip, Shekinah went back to Los Angeles, but she couldn't stop thinking about Sarper, so she made a huge decision. She moved to Istanbul, left LA, left her routine, moved across the world. That's when the exes started showing up. On The Other Way, an ex-girlfriend of Sarper's named Nora reached out to Shekinah. Nora basically tried to warn Shekinah about Sarper, trash-talked him, told Shekinah what she was really getting into. Shekinah didn't back off. She stayed with Sarper. Then during The Other Way tell-all, another ex appeared. This one was named DeeDee, and her appearance came with an even weirder backstory that we'll get to in a bit. But here's what happened while Shekinah was in Turkey. She noticed Sarper kept wine bottles from his past relationships. Not photos, not letters. Actual wine bottles that he'd drunk with previous girlfriends. He kept them in his house as souvenirs. Shekinah was disturbed. Sarper's response was basically that they were just memories. Then Sarper's real personality started coming out. He wanted control, a lot of control, over her outfits, her food, her routine, basically everything about her. Now let's get to what was probably the most memorable Sarper moment. At one point during the other way, Sarper literally brought out an actual scale and demanded Shekinah weigh herself, on camera. She was hesitant. She didn't want to. He pushed. That scene alone became one of the most controversial moments of the season because, as a personal trainer, Sarper wanted to manage her weight, wanted to dictate what her body looked like. Fans were shocked. This wasn't casual concern. This was pulling out a physical scale to weigh your girlfriend in a documentary. And it didn't stop there. When Sarper came to America and they started planning marriage, Shekinah wanted a prenup. Sarper agreed, but with one condition. He demanded a weight clause. If Shekinah gained weight during the marriage, there would be financial penalties, in writing, legally binding, her body weight tied to the marriage contract. When Shekinah told her friends about this, they were speechless. Now, I want to acknowledge, some fans have wondered if the whole weight clause thing was even real, or if Sarper and Shekinah cooked it up for TLC storyline purposes. These two are very media savvy. They know how to create viral moments, but real or scripted, the moment landed. Fans still talk about the weight clause prenup. And when you combine it with the actual scale scene from the other way, it paints a pretty clear picture of the dynamic here. Whether Sarper ever signed the prenup with the clause in it, nobody outside their inner circle knows for sure. Okay, let's get to the actual wedding, because this became one of season 11's biggest moments. Sarper was in America on his K1 visa, 90 days to get married, wedding planned, venue arranged, guests invited. The day before the wedding, Sarper went missing. Shekinah couldn't find him, couldn't reach him. His visa deadline was approaching, and her groom was just gone. Sarper eventually turned up, but disappearing the day before your wedding, to someone you moved across the world for, that says something. The 90-day Fiancé promotional material literally called this, quote, the case of the missing groom. Sarper's explanation was that he needed space. He was overwhelmed by the whole marriage situation. Then when he came back, he dropped another bombshell. He didn't want a traditional wedding at all. In a scene that shocked Shekinah's family, Sarper announced they wouldn't have a wedding. Her sister asked when they were getting married. Sarper stumbled and said, quote, oh, we will have no wedding. Then Shekinah added the twist. Instead of a wedding, they were going to have a, quote, bedding. A bedding, not a wedding, bedding. The idea was that they'd have their ceremony privately, in bed. No dress, no aisle, no ceremony. Just them making it official in the most casual way possible. Her family was not impressed. Her sister was stunned. Her friends were speechless. But that's what they did. And that basically set the tone for what their marriage would become. Here's what's fascinating. Their dynamic completely reversed when Sarper moved to America. In Turkey, Sarper was controlling. He wanted to dictate everything. But once he was in America on the K1 visa, suddenly Shekinah was in control. She was making the money. She had the established life. Sarper was the immigrant. Shekinah started tracking Sarper's location, wanted to know where he was at all times. Sarper felt trapped, felt he was losing his independence. Sarper's exact quote, marriage is difficult. We are arguing so much. It is just like swimming against the water flow. Even though we love each other, sometimes I think that we are not compatible anymore. That's a devastating statement from someone still legally married. Now here's the wildest thing. At some point, Sarper decided he and Shekinah needed couples therapy. Reasonable, right? Except, who did Sarper reach out to as a therapist? His ex-girlfriend, DeeDee. Yeah, Sarper contacted an ex to do therapy for him and his current partner. He put DeeDee in touch with the producers. She was supposed to help them work through their issues. DeeDee couldn't actually film the therapy session. So instead, she ended up appearing on the tell-all, where she and Shekinah were face to face. That is genuinely one of the most bizarre, help my marriage strategies I've ever seen on this franchise. Reaching out to your ex to fix your current relationship. Fans could not believe it, but that was just one of many things going wrong. There were multiple things breaking this marriage apart. Let me run through them fast. First, the business. Sarper apparently asked Shekinah to shut down her beauty business to support his stand-up comedy career. He wanted her to travel with him for shows, basically be his plus one. Shekinah refused, called him, quote, self-absorbed. Fair response, honestly. Second, Sarper's own business struggle. As a personal trainer, Sarper had female clients. Apparently 90% of his customers were women. But Shekinah didn't trust him with female clients, given his 2,500 women past. So she forbade him from training women. His income dropped, financial tension increased. Third, Shekinah got a facelift, a specific procedure called a Fiancé lift. The results were controversial. Some fans loved it, others called it her surgery face. But here's the interesting part. The surgery went so viral that Shekinah gained about 70,000 new followers from it. Sarper reportedly wasn't happy with her surgery choices. Reports suggest her nose job earlier had also disappointed him. Fourth, Sarper's comedy shows started including jokes about their marriage, making fun of Shekinah on stage. Also insulted Shekinah's ex Dan in his comedy routine. Shekinah confronted him, in her own words, quote, "It's just a control thing." Then it got even worse. In June 2026, screenshots of Sarper's active dating profiles surfaced online. Posted by insider account at 90-day Fiancé update. He was on Bumble. He was on Tinder, while still legally married. His profile, quote, "A 6'1" comedian with a graduate degree." Said he was, quote, "a comedian traveling all over the US and Canada. No kids, doesn't want kids, looking for short term. Also open to long term." That's not a man testing the waters cautiously. That's an active dater. When called out, Sarper's explanation was that the dating apps were, quote, retaliation against Shekinah. He said she had accused him of going, quote, lower than low, called him, quote, uneducated and below his level. Sarper accused Shekinah of using, quote, typical narcissistic isolation tactics. So, according to Sarper, the dating apps were revenge, not actual attempts to find love, which, retaliation or not, you don't put yourself on Bumble and Tinder while married unless you're ready to be single. Around the same time, they unfollowed each other on Instagram. After being married, public breakup signal. Shekinah's response, quote, "You'll be sending photos of you crying to get me back in a week." Openly mocking her husband publicly. He eventually deleted the profiles. So, the big question, are they divorcing? Here's what we know. Sarper has publicly stated they are, quote, no longer married in mind or heart anymore. Shekinah has confirmed she is leaving the 90-day Fiancé franchise. Said, quote, the show did not protect her. She had an on-camera fight with Thais Ramon that reportedly got physical. Shekinah's summary, quote, they knew they were dealing with fragile marriages on the verge of divorce, yet they put us on 2 shows. But here's where it gets interesting. When asked directly about divorce on the Sarah Fraser show, Sarper's answer was, quote, we're happy. We try to be happy. Not a yes, not a clear no. Someone deflecting. No official divorce has been filed as of the latest reporting. But they're separated in practice, living apart. Sarper traveling for comedy. Shekinah in California. Not following each other online. Publicly insulting each other. Basically a marriage that exists only on paper. We'll get more answers as The Last Resort Season 3 concludes. That's the complete Sarper and Shekinah story. A 45-year-old Turkish stripper turned personal trainer turned comedian. An LA aesthetician who moved to Istanbul for him. 600 bachelorette parties, wine bottle collections, an actual weight scale scene, a weight clause prenup, a missing groom, a bedding not wedding, an ex-girlfriend brought in for therapy, active Tinder profiles, and a public split playing out on national TV. Honestly, this couple probably was never going to work. The red flags were there from day one. Everyone saw them except Sarper and Shekinah themselves. If you want more 90-day Fiancé deep dives like this one, subscribe. I've got more coming. Drop a comment with everything Sarper's past includes. Was this marriage ever going to work? Let me know. See you in the next one.